Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another podcast from Lady Parts. Thanks for joining us as always.
Greetings and salutations.
That's your new thing?
That's my new thing.
Okay.
It's not even new anymore.
It's not new anymore, no. We're going to start you off with the stats. We tallied 16 primetime shows this week, written and co-written by women 6, which is only 37. However, good news in the directing department, 9, which is over 50%. It's 56%.
Excellent.
So, it's a constant
Really
balancing
excellent.
act. And this week we have 2 movies and 2 TV shows to talk to you about, and the Emmys. So let's dive right in.
Did you say and the Emmys?
Yes, I did. Yes, and we'll see how you feel about it. But anyway, let's start with our first movie, which was our most anticipated movie of the summer. It's called The Wife, starring the phenomenal Glenn Close.
Wow.
In pretty much one of the biggest performances of her lifetime, and definitely an Oscar contender.
Also Jonathan Pryce, Christian Slater, who was excellent,
Yeah.
Max Irons, and Annie Stark, Glenn Close's daughter.
Yes, and she plays her character when she's younger.
When she's young. And we kept saying, she doesn't really look like her, but she has the same skin tone.
She evokes her. Mm-hmm.
And there she was, her daughter.
And there she was wearing a hat as her daughter. You Italian people will understand that reference.
Yes.
Anyway, it's in theater now, and in theaters now. It's by the way, written by a woman, Jane Anderson, based on a novel by Meg Wolitzer,
of whom I'm a rather large fan.
Directed by Bjorn Runge, I guess, because a lot of the movie takes place in Sweden, because it's all about the Nobel Prize. So this is a woman whose husband it's been announced that he's winning the Nobel Prize for literature. And we find out that there's a secret there.
Secret.
Something that she has had to hold in for many, many, many years, and it's all bubbling up. And that's why her performance is so fantastic, because really she plays so many different
levels
of emotion, and it's all under the surface until it
explodes.
It isn't. Yes. Right. I have to say, we were a little disappointed with the movie itself.
Yes, we were.
It felt kind of immature to me, like an immature script. It was a little predictable, a little basic.
I didn't think the dialogue was as good as it.
No.
There were certainly parts of it that were crackling.
Yeah.
Really. But other parts of it seemed a little lackluster.
I think it's the performances really that made the movie, because everybody was very, very good, and of course, chiefly among them is Glenn Close.
Also, I have Jonathan Pryce.
Yes.
I think it's the first time I've ever heard him use an American accent. I'm trying to think. If anybody can think of something else he's done in an American accent, please let me know. And I've been watching him in the theater also since he practically started.
Well, anyway, I mean, it is a good movie. Not to say that it's not worth your time, but really go see it.
It's worth your time.
But really go see it for Glenn more than anything, because you don't want to miss her performance in this.
No, she's just. Well, I just have to say the word brilliant. It's so overused, but. Not in this case. It's just stellar.
And I have to say that seeing her daughter, and she was very good.
Excellent.
Excites me, because it's a new
next generation.
Yeah, the next generation of Glenn Close.
Mm-hmm. Max Irons, speaking of next generations, was also good, but I hated his character.
Well, you were supposed to.
I just wanted to slap him, across the face I know, I don't,
and
that's
Christian
violent.
Slater was very good.
He was fabulous.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite performances of his.
So anyway, The Wife in theaters now. Definitely go see it. Now, something really fun.
Yes. I would say this is the surprise of the season, but I was eager to see it. I didn't even really know that much about it, but we saw a preview for it.
All we needed to know was
Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick.
That's all I needed to know.
It was directed by Paul.
Let's first say what it's called.
Oh, sorry. It's called A Simple Favor. Not very simple at all, but at any rate, it's directed by wonderful Paul Feig, written by Jessica Scharzer, and it's based on a novel by Darcy Bell. And as we said before, it stars Anna Kendrick is really, I guess,
the star, but Blake Lively.
Blake Lively, you know, Blake Lively. All she has to do is stand there, and she's the star to me.
God,
Henry Golding.
She was especially gorgeous. And
she was so hot in this movie. Excuse me, just for being a lesbian for just a minute. She was so hot that I thought the screen was going to catch fire. I find her very sexy anyway. I've liked her since Gossip Girls, yeah. Right? They dress her in mostly womenized men's clothing, feminized men's clothing, which is so hot.
And there was a very subliminal lesbian flirtation.
Yes.
Now about these, by the way, I have to say about the actors here. There were some known actors who were doing basically cameos.
Exactly.
But it was great. It was very fun.
Yes, well, they added a great deal. Henry Golding, which is not a cameo.
No, not at all.
We probably wouldn't have even known who he was if it hadn't been for Crazy Rich Asians. He's so darling. Our darling Linda Cardinelli in a very interesting little role. Gene Smart in basically a cameo, but hilarious. And Andrew Reynolds, playing Andrew Reynolds. But very darling. This movie is so much fun. I cannot use the word fun enough. Fun. It's very clever. It has a lot of twisty turnies, very surprising, but it never sort of loses that light touch.
Because it's
even though it's kind of serious in spots, it's still.
It manages to be light and entertaining and yet not stupid, which I appreciate. And it keeps you on your toes all the way to the very last minute.
Yes, it's just delicious. And Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively have fabulous chemistry. I mean, they didn't even have to have a lesbian undertone which they did, to have fabulous chemistry. Well, I mean, who would not fall in love with Blake Lively?
But listen,
her entrance alone just was designed to make you go, oh, my God.
But I have to tell you that Anna Kendrick is phenomenal.
Well,
I just love her.
She is always great. She never disappoints. She's always perky and precious and darling.
She's perky and precious, but she's the kind of perky and precious that has a lot of, different sides to
and
her.
She's so intelligent. Anyway, I just say, if you want to have a really good time at the movies, go to see A Simple Favor.
So those were our two movies, and now we have two TV shows, starting with It's Not TV, It's Hulu.
So much is not TV, it's something else.
And this is a very interesting show, and by the way, thank you, Betty. Betty for letting us know about this. We would have otherwise never known about
we never even
this.
heard of it. What kind of...
Well, the only reason that I have heard about it, but I hadn't heard exactly about it, was because many of you know about Designated Survivor, which, by the way, has been rescued and revived.
Yes, I was hoping it would be Code Black.
I know. Anyway, so those of you who watch Designated Survivor know that Natasha McElhone, who played Kiefer Sutherland's First Lady, she left.
She was killed off.
She was killed off, but some of you, I don't know, I was very pissed off, so I actually Googled it at the time, and I read that she decided to leave because she got a different part.
Excellent decision.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, very good career move.
Okay, so this is called The First. And as opposed to how Hulu usually operates, they actually put all the episodes at once, which I really appreciate.
Because we binged.
8 episodes. It's the first season. I don't know at this point if they haven't announced yet if it's been renewed or canceled or if it's supposed to just be a standalone miniseries.
I feel that it could easily have a second season.
Absolutely.
Easily. The way they left it open for the possibility of a second season.
Absolutely. And it's created by Bo Willman, starring Sean Penn in one of the best performances
And just in case,
by
miracle, you don't know who Bo Willman is, he did Robin Wright and...
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Of course,
Thank
House of Cards.
The name of House of Cards does not ever stick to my gray matter.
Anyway, I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about when House of Cards comes back without Son's Kevin Spacey. But anyway, so the first is, and I want to tell you, give it some time because the first 2 episodes actually are not the best as far as I'm concerned, but it gets better and better and better. And it's about a space program. The
first mission to Mars.
Sometimes around 2030, something like that. So in the near future, and sending the first person to Mars. And it's not, it's a corporation actually. It's a private,
but they work with the government.
They work with NASA. They get funding from the government, but they're still independent, and they're run by the genius character of Natasha McElhone,
who's sort of supposed to be like an Elon Musk kind of a character.
And Sean Penn leads the team that's gonna go to Mars.
My goodness, he's in good shape, isn't he?
He's in too much of
good shape, exactly.
And as part of his crew is also, by the way, the crew is full of women,
extremely diverse.
Even though it will seem as if Sean Penn is the central character, actually it's the women around him that drive everything.
I agree.
And it's Lisa Gay Hamilton. Melissa George plays his late wife.
Yes.
His daughter is played by the divine Anna Jacobi Heron.
I don't know her. I've looked there. Maybe we've seen her in some small things, but this girl is a revelation. She is the next big thing. I can tell you. She's the next Brie Larson, who seems to have decided to take a different turn in her career.
Lisa Gay Hamilton is gay, and her partner is Tracy Thoms, who always plays lesbians.
Always seems to play a lesbian and isn't.
Keiko Ajena is also on the team, and this is just it seems like it should be a space show, but it's not. It's about the leading up, about the preparations, about the people and their families, what it takes to be a person who is saying, I'm going to go to Mars,
and
because
I might not come back.
I might not come back. In fact, as the show progresses, we see that there's actually less of a chance of them coming back, and they're all willing to take that risk because they just want to be the first, and how their families respond to it. We see some of their background, where they came from. And it's just such an intelligent show.
That to me, besides the fact that the acting is really superb. And the writing is excellent, the dialogue is great. The level of intelligence that this show aspires to and reaches is really like hardly any other show that you see. So you have to have an intellectual curiosity and bent to really enjoy this show, because there's a lot of musings. There's a lot. It's not so much that it's technical.
No, it's psychological.
It's psychological, and
Natasha McElhone's character, just her. And by the way, I do want to mention Hannah Ware, who plays Sadie, another very important woman on the cast and on the crew.
And did we mention D.W. Moffat? He actually doesn't have that pivotal role, but I love him, so I'm happy to see him at all times.
So this is just an excellent, excellent show, people, and again, I can't emphasize enough how much I love Natasha McElhone's character.
She's just wonderful, and she grows on you.
Yeah, she has more to do.
Much more to do, and there are many more sides to her character. And I just want to say, if any of you can figure out who the mystery man is and why he's there, the one who fixes phones, please let us know. It's kind of a
weird through line.
It's something that they've thrown in, and we have no idea. Yeah. We figure he's someone's father, but who knows?
Anyway, the first on Hulu right now, all 8 episodes. Go and binge. We binged it very quickly, and now we miss it so much.
Now we're sorry, exactly.
Okay, and our second TV show?
Yeah, this was a big surprise to me. I really didn't expect to like this, but we thought, all right, we're going to watch it because it's got a good cast. And it's called Kidding. It's on Showtime, Sundays at 10 p.m. It's about a Mr. Rogers kind of a character.
Played by,
of course, Jim Carrey at his creepiest. I know that what I'm going to say now is just heresy, but Mr. Rogers always seemed a little pedophile-like to me. But and I know that he's revered, and he wasn't, and he would never be. But anyway, it's created by Dave Holstein, starring Jim Carrey as I can't remember the character's name.
Pickles, Mr.
Pickles. Yes, and it has puppets and songs.
Well, but only when he is in his character.
In his character,
of
course.
The puppets are not part of the actual
show.
No,
the puppets are part of his show.
The show in the show.
Including Ukulele, who is my favorite and is pivotal.
Actually, speaking of puppets, the woman who is in charge of the puppetry on the show is Catherine Keener, who plays his sister.
Right, exactly. She's not really in charge of the puppetry, but the character is.
Yes, of course.
Frank Langella plays his father and the producer of the show. Judy Greer plays his wife, and Justin Kirk plays her boyfriend. And they're all wonderful. The kids are all terrific. Mm-hmm. It's pretty depressing. He's, of course...
It's very dark.
He's depressed, as is Jim Carrey.
Well, but the premise of the show is he and Judy Greer, they just lost their son.
Child. Yes, they lost their son.
And he is supposed to be this cheerful character teaching kids about all these things, and he really wants to teach them about death. Because he says everybody knows that he in his real life lost a child, and then we're just ignoring it. So kids are not supposed to know about death. It's part of life.
He wants desperately to address it, but
because he has to address it between himself,
right? But his father, the network. The network doesn't say anything, but his father just doesn't think the network can take it. They have a lot of products that they don't want to involve any of the characters to make, so that's sort of, I think, the main conflict, and him accepting his wife.
Yeah. Moving on.
There is,
by the way, move on. An interesting kind of a gay subplot, male gay subplot.
Oh, yes. It's very...
Yep. The show
original.
The show itself is extremely original.
It is.
And even though it's somber and depressing, it's also very, again, original. You kind of just have to watch it and just... It's so interesting.
And there are some things that are funny in it, and charming.
And sad. And sweet.
Very sad and sweet. I really recommended it.
Yeah.
It's the most I've liked Jim Carrey in a long time. I wish they'd give him a haircut.
It's a big... Well, he gave himself a haircut, but that didn't achieve...
No.
But anyway, it's very surprising.
Yes, I recommend it.
Yeah, Kidding on Showtime. Definitely check it out.
10 p.m. or
whatever.
anytime afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about the Emmys a little bit. We don't have that much to say.
Lowest rated Emmy show, I think, in history.
Which is sad to me, because with every year I feel there's less of a chance of them ever broadcasting it again.
And TV just gets better and better.
Yep. And the problem, it was a very lackluster show.
Oh, my God. I mean, Colin Jost and Michael Che, they're funny. And I actually enjoyed their intellectual, smirky kind of humor, but they do not have the weight to host a show.
Right. Not like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, for example.
Yes. Or our second choice.
Our second choice, which is Kate McKinnon and Allison Janney.
Which isn't really our second choice.
No, it's actually my first choice. But I think that, first of all, Kate McKinnon, again, I will reiterate, if you haven't seen her host the Spirit Awards, she was brilliant. God. And she can host anything at any time.
She can host something in my living room.
And they did kind of delegate, which is something I noticed. They let a lot of other hosts do their work. So, for example, the opening number was Kate McKinnon and a bunch of other people.
Mostly from Saturday Night Live,
yes,
because it was on NBC. Lorne Michaels produced it, and it was basically a showcase for Saturday Night Live, which in some ways was good, and in some ways was absolutely horrid.
For example, the Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen
skits about people who were supposed to comment on the Emmys and knew nothing. It was so stupid.
It was such a waste of time.
Yes, and they cut the people's speeches for the most important night of their life, but they had this stupid time suck.
And the thing is SNL has brilliant skits and it has dumb skits. When you have to put on a show that's current every week, then some of the things are going to bomb. The writing can't always be great. But when you have months and months and months to plan an Emmy show, you should really at some point say, that's a stupid skit. Let's get rid of it.
Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, somebody should know.
And even the opening number, which I have to say,
we solved it. It was funny,
smart, but it seemed vastly under rehearsed.
Yeah.
The main people in it, the Saturday night people, they sort of weren't in sync. It wasn't until the dancers came on.
Yeah, the
dancers were ready. But this is the Emmys, people.
Maybe it was something that they had to throw in last minute. I did enjoy rather greatly seeing my Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor finally attend an award show together, because usually for some reason Sarah brings other people.
Yes, Sarah came as the Black Swan.
Yes, she did, and she didn't win anything.
No.
But that's okay.
She's won. She's
won many, many times, and she's going to win again.
Yes, the big winner.
Yes, the big winner.
The big winner.
The big winner, which is kind of a surprise to me, was Mrs. Maisel.
Which we like very much.
Which is all about Jewish people and has barely any Jewish people in it, both behind the scene and in front of.
Yeah.
Except for the
Alex
one who
Borstein,
won.
and she did win for Best Supporting Actress, and I love her on the show, and I've been a fan of hers for many, many years.
And I love that she didn't care that her nipples were showing.
I know. And she made a big deal out of it, which is what you do when you know your nipples are showing.
Well, she could have kept her, she had a little jacket on. She decided to take it off.
Yeah.
I love that. There were some great moments that had to do more with the wins, rather the speeches, rather than the host or anything like that. I loved the special recognition of Betty White.
Oh my God! Someone posted online that they just want to find somebody who looks at them the way the whole audience looked at Betty White, which is true.
I know it's a little bit of a sappy me showing here, but I did love that marriage proposal.
Glenn Weiss.
I mean, he started off talking about his late mother who had just passed away 2 weeks before that, and he already had me there. But then to propose to, and they looked like such a sweet couple.
Oh, it was just. I don't think that there was a person there that didn't love it, or a person watching that didn't think it was just. First of all, it was the most alive moment of the whole show.
Yeah. I loved Hannah Gadsby. Love that they chose her as a presenter.
And just
I love her.
She was so
She's
amazing.
Just so brilliant.
She is so brilliant. Darren Criss was one of our favorite awards of the night.
There was no doubt in my mind.
If he
that
wasn't going
to
win this, I might have turned off the TV because he had he had no equal to Best Actor in a limited series.
We are so happy that finally, on its sixth and final season, the Americans writers got recognition. Matthew Rhys got recognition. However, Kerry Russell did not, which was very disappointing. Even though Claire Foy is a very good actress.
I love clairvoyant, as we always call her, due to some joke we made once, and it just stuck.
I was very, very. I mean, I know you love Tandy Newton.
To me, Westworld is Tandy Newton, is Maeve. Without Maeve, there is no Westworld.
But
to
I
me.
have to say,
I
was
agree.
extremely disappointed that Yvonne Strahovski didn't win for an amazing season of
Handmaid's
playing
Tale.
Serena. Oh my God!
I agree with you as much as I love Tandy, and that was the hardest category of the night.
I just can't see how she wasn't. She didn't win. Actually, The Handmaid's Tale got nothing.
No.
Maybe they got something in the creatives, but they definitely didn't get anything that night.
And they were multi-nominated, of course.
And unfortunately, because Mrs. Maisel swept all the categories, there was nothing for Glow.
Oh, and we just love Glow. We wanted Betty Gilpin to win so much. And the only thing that would have made me happier, but she wasn't nominated, was if Alison Brie had been nominated.
I know. Though they did, I think, make history by winning the first female to win stunt coordination back at the Creative Awards.
Okay, well, as well they should.
And I know you love Game of Thrones. I know there are a lot of Game of Thrones fans, but I am tired of them winning too often, and I would have liked another show. I would especially have loved the Americans winning for their final season again.
I agree
I'm just
with
bored
you.
with them winning
I have to
again.
say it was
The
a wonderful
Handmaid's Tale
season of Game of
won.
Thrones. But then again, it is always a wonderful season of Game of Thrones. And they have won so many times. I think I would have liked really for the Americans to have won in its final year. I think it should have won everything.
I know, right? Because it had actually gone very much unnoticed.
For the first 3 or 4 years.
Yes, throughout. They barely ever got nominated, let alone won. So that was very disappointing.
I was happy for Matthew Rhys, though. I love hearing his Welsh accent. It's so cute.
Anyway, so that's what we have to say about the Emmys of 2018. And now we have the Golden Globes, the Oscars, the SAG Awards, all of those to look forward to.
By the time you get to the Oscars,
it's like already,
I've heard that speech.
I'm
Oh, gosh, I've heard that speech. Oh, gosh, I've heard that speech. Oh, no, not again. Or, oh, good, okay. I thought we had one other thing to add, which is a big disappointment.
Very, very disappointing. Very, actually, it's a very angersome to me. Dietland.
It was not renewed. It was canceled.
It was canceled.
And it was such an original show, so important.
Important and good, well-written,
really
well-acted.
Really original. So I'm very disappointed.
Very needed. So we're very disappointed. We are hoping that maybe someone will pick it up. Hulu, Amazon, Netflix. It should be right up any of your alleys. So
absolutely.
We're hoping. Anyway, thank you for joining us again, and we will be right back next Saturday.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.